And jokingly, I said, it's real easy. You don't have to really do anything. You need to drain it and just don't let it catch on fire. Ha ha ha.
Next thing is I get a phone call a few hours later, and he's like, so I told her one thing when I left. I said, don't let it catch on fire. Guess why I'm going to now? And I'm like, it's on fire, isn't it? He's like, yes.
I thought it was just a little fire because at that point I haven't been working in the oven. So my solution was, listen, just put the smother with a wet towel. Okay. Because I thought it was a small fire. And so I went and got a really wet towel.
Meanwhile, I'm in the living room watching TV because I'm just like, I can't.
Anyway, they opened the oven and I went to go put the towel on it. And as soon as I saw how much fire there was, I pulled the towel back.
Too much fire must retreat.
Yes. So what he essentially did was matador the fire. So what I see the first thing I see is orange light filling the living room. Yeah, and then whoosh, and I look over my shoulder and is being chased by this massive fireball out of the kitchen.
Okay, what is the next thing that I did?
I don't remember because I tried to I was gone, man.
The next thing I did, the very next thing I did was open all their cabinets, find the baking soda, and I smothered it correctly.
Yeah, I mean, it was out within by the time I figured out that we weren't all going to die, it was out. I mean, I'll give you that. Hey, Internet! Highway 47 Productions back here with some more Star Trek The Next Generation on this a very special night because everything in the universe is going wrong and we're here to set it right or something like that. I am Shaggy B, and with me tonight we have the rest of the dream team, Dracofunk.
Yeah.
Talk to the people, Draco. Yeah. And also with us is Scrodrick.
Yes, I am also here. Yay!
Woo! All right, we're all here. We are watching some Star Trek tonight. We are watching season 1, episode number, what is it?
8.
Episode 8. Episode 8. Yes. It's probably listed. Yeah, it's listed episode 8, right. It's weird sometimes with the numbering because sometimes they count Encounter at Farpoint as 1 episode, and sometimes they count it as 2. And so it's not going to be too long before I start getting confused in every episode, which number is this really? But this is episode 8 in the order that it aired, counting Encounter at Farpoint as 1 episode. And if you want to get even more fun with it, it's actually in production order. This is, I think, the 9th episode. Yeah, it's the 9th produced because episode 11, by the numbering system we're using, was actually the 3rd one produced. And it's just, it's more reasons that season 1 is difficult and annoying to work with, is what it is.
And then you carry the 5, and, you get a remainder.
And use half a kilometer of butter.
Yes.
Synthetic division is probably involved in there somewhere. I still don't know what that is.
It is the simplest thing in the world.
That's what I was told in Algebra 2, and it was a lie.
They're using that new math.
Oh, yeah. It's Common Core, right?
Yeah. So,
something.
this episode originally aired on the 14th of November, 1987.
What were you doing on the 14th of November, 1987?
I don't know. I actually did not watch this episode on that day.
I might have. I wouldn't remember.
I don't know. I probably was running around outside like an idiot because I was a child.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a good chance I was visiting my grandfather because he was pretty sick at that point. But I don't remember really.
Happy times.
Yeah, he was a pretty cool guy, what I remember. But yeah, so this is episode, what do we call it? Episode 8? God, yes. I'm so tired.
I'm going by what Netflix tells me, and it is episode 8.
Episode 8, The Battle, if I haven't mentioned the title yet, which I don't think I have.
Hey, you know, one thing we haven't done is give it like, you know, IMDb rates all these episodes. This one has a rating of 6.8.
It's a pretty good one, I think, actually. Yeah.
It's
and
season 1, you know, tends to have some pretty low ratings. Like the great episodes are rated around 9, and good episodes are in the 8s, and you know, decent episodes are usually around 7. This one's almost 7.
yeah, and this one has some pretty good, like, meaty, you know, Star Trek sort of action in it.
The last episode, Justice, only had a rating of 6.
That's pretty fair. But yeah, this one has some good stuff in it. I always remember this one pretty fondly.
Code of Honor had a rating of 5.2.
That's surprisingly good.
And, you know, in this episode, the Ferengi actually do something kind of nefarious instead of it's like, what? Why are they doing this?
I almost wonder if, like, as soon as the first Ferengi episode was released, whatever it was called, I can't remember now.
Last Outpost.
Last Outpost, thank you. As soon as that one was, you know, approved and they started working on it, if Rick Berman didn't, like, just throw a fit, like, you have to write them better than this. You have to do another one now. I hope he did, because seriously.
Gotta try to salvage this somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
So we are watching the Netflix version. This will also work with the Hulu version and the DVD version.
And the way that you watch it with us is we're going to give you about a 5-second countdown. In fact, exactly a 5-second countdown, assuming that I, you know, say the seconds at the right length. But it'll be 5 seconds. And right when I get to the end of that, when I say go, you're just going to hit your play button right at that point. So get your video file or your Netflix file or your whatever it is, DVD, everything set up right on the 0 point, and put your mouse over the play button, and we will get you started. Am I forgetting anything else? Go ahead.
Somebody asked, a good way to view this is if you have a Wi-Fi and your phone's enabled to Wi-Fi, is to put us on your phone, the YouTube file, or whatever version, whatever medium you're listening to us through, put it on your phone and have it play through your phone, either on headphones or out loud. Yeah, not headphones. We're using headphones because of we're recording this. But yeah, put it on your phone and have it play, and you're watching along the episode.
It works well. Yeah, I've done it a few different ways. I'll play it on my phone, and then I'll play it on my phone, and then I'll have the episode going on the TV. I have a PC connected to my living room TV, and so I'll actually fire up Netflix in one browser window and then YouTube in the other one, and then I'll just start the YouTube video and then put that in the background and put the Netflix on full screen and hit play when it comes to that.
You know what we should do? It's like,
what's that? Put
these instructions in the comments or like in the descriptions.
We could do that. We could absolutely do that.
We should do that and edit out all this stuff.
I mean, I'll be honest, you know, like, I watch a lot of YouTube and I don't really read the descriptions on anything.
That's true.
It's like, wait, there's something there?
Yeah. And like every video I watch where the guys are like, you know, oh, we'll put a link to this cool thing in the description so you can check it out. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. And then like 5 seconds goes by and I've totally forgotten. Having said that, you know, read our descriptions. But
please.
We're going to give a 5-second countdown and get this started.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, fingers over play buttons, mouses over play buttons, whatever. I mean, you know, stick over play button, remote control. I don't care how you hit play.
Maybe you're using a joystick.
Joystick, you know, Xbox controller, that's an option.
You know, the Enterprise E has a joystick.
If you're really good with like a marble or a slingshot, you know, try that. I don't know.
Can I use the duck hunt gun from the NES?
Just add in a bleep and people can fill in their own appendage.
Let's do the countdown. We're going to start the battle. You know?
All right. Yes.
Do you have a question for us?
Do I have a question for you? Sure. You ever read Moby Dick?
I read the first 3 words.
That's basically the whole story.
I may have been in a building with a copy of the book once.
Well, I haven't read it either, so
so let's move on.
All right, let's start this episode. This is going to be a fun night. All right. This is Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 1, Episode 8, The Battle. We are hitting play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Ooh, Purple Nebula. You know, I always remember that about this episode because it gives you a sense of their location. That unique, like, purple starfield that they got going.
Another show that I liked where they really did that, and they actually kept it pretty consistent too.
What's that?
Was Babylon 5. Like certain areas of space, they use different backgrounds.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, they do that sometimes in Star Trek. Like the Badlands always look the same, you know.
Yeah.
But you don't. I suppose you don't go to the same areas very often in Star Trek either.
True.
Except for Deep Space Nine.
I wonder if one of those books is Moby Dick.
We should have looked.
I don't know what a headache is.
How can you be Wesley's mother? And stand by for what?
Yes.
The moral of this story is don't be a skeptic.
Maybe they're going to return that piece of equipment they stole.
Yeah, the T9 energy converter.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't use it to build a mind control device.
I am a Captain Picard.
You have the advantage of me. You are the friend of me.
At least it's not extreme close-up this time.
True.
Why'd you hang up on him?
She can sense the Ferengi in this episode?
She could in the last one, but she can't ever again.
We're back to the extreme close-up.
Yeah, that's what he thought was wrong. Like the channel was like, oh, maybe the camera's in the wrong spot, and he pulled it up closer.
Why would you do this?
Voodoo.
Ta-da!
If you're watching this on Netflix, do not hit that skip intro button because we will not. And you will be considerably ahead of us if you do.
And we will laugh at you.
We should pick one episode and hit the button. Maybe like the end of season 2.
The Naked Now would have been a good one for that.
I like that episode. I don't know what.
I mean, we've been through that.
Yeah, we have. You know, Will Wheaton gets a bad rap for this, but, you know, I don't think he's so bad. He did really well for what he was written.
Oh, yeah, he is very talented. Like, he can do a lot of good things. It's just the writing and the directing was, yeah. I'm a big Will Wheaton fan.
I am too. He was actually one of my sister's favorite characters.
I can believe that. You know, he like swore off social media like a week or two ago. Just flat out quit everything.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah. Which I understand why he did it. Sucks because I kind of liked, getting to not so much interact with him because, I'm one of a million people, but, see what's going on in his life and all that.
Yeah.
And he still writes on his blog, I suppose.
Whoosh. Keep that in mind, Picard.
We got to make sure there isn't a bleed.
Yeah. When you had to pay for healthcare.
I feel free.
She's safety pin her lab coat. Data's manspreading.
Constellation.
In the script, it was supposed to be a Constitution-class starship like the original Enterprise. I am glad it wasn't.
Did they overdub him?
They might have, yeah. I didn't see it.
Is this the first time he wears his rainbow shirt?
Might be. Yeah, he'd been wearing like the sweaters before this. Jordy fell asleep. Oh, there he is.
One advantage of the visor.
Worf, come up here. Look mean.
Growl a little bit. Who's that? Wait. Who was that in the back of the science station in that last shot? Wearing the Worf's thing.
I missed that.
Mm-hmm.
Guy talk. It's on a collision course. I love how everybody at the back of the bridge is just staring forward and not monitoring their stations.
Warp core breach in progress.
Yeah. That couldn't possibly happen. This is like the best ship in the fleet. They wouldn't send it out with a vulnerable warp core.
Of course not.
Shut up, Data.
It got 1,000 kilometers.
Oh, yeah. Impulse power.
Almost warp 7.
Yeah, I know.
What?
Yep.
Nope. Stroke.
Oh.
Totally fine.
The Ferengi all got a great deal on furs.
Wah, wah.
I could command 2 vessels at once.
No, sir, I don't like it. That is a really nice new model of the Stargazer.
Mm-hmm. So he was in command of the Stargazer, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just like Riker.
Weep. Again, don't, do anything about the captain acting weird or anything.
Nah, it's fine.
Room full of people responsible for keeping the captain safe. He's going obviously insane.
He's just trolling us.
Yeah.
Maybe it's part of some covert plan.
How many shuttlecraft do they have?
Well, how many did Voyager have?
That's a good point. I mean, we did learn from Voyager that you can create shuttlecraft and photon torpedoes with sheer human will. Like, the will to survive is what creates those.
I always figured it was the will of plot.
That could be.
It was Chakotay's, voodoo magic. That's what I always say.
He wasn't voodoo.
Yeah, it was really nothing because their expert turned out to not be an expert on any of that.
Yeah, whatever it was not authentic in the least.
So it could have been voodoo magic.
Good Data trying to suppress a smile.
There's a great gag reel scene of Data reading this.
Like a Jimmy Stewart voice, right?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, if you recite the name and registry number of the ship, oh, wait.
Data smiling as he comes onto the burned bridge, and it's like, aha, human suffering makes me happy.
This is so obviously the set from Star Trek The Motion Picture.
Sure, it's not from Star Trek 2.
Oh, you know. It's actually the Battle Bridge.
Mm.
Stardate 43218? No. 40218. How was that 9 years? Because it's 4-1, no, whatever.
So, Picard, Data, Worf. Like most of the
Picard,
bridge
Data,
crew.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh man, I missed the mind control sphere.
I got a case of the spheres, man.
That's the most awkward control interface ever.
I mean, it is the Ferengi.
It's made by Mad Cats.
Yeah. It's like those old N64 controllers that the joystick worked once.
And they were always shaped different,
Yep. That dead ficus is a pretty good touch.
I wasn't asking for permission.
We're just taking it. You don't have a say in this. That's a great sign off.
Looks like he has a bad hangover.
Well, I mean, the stuff in his old quarters had been aged. It was pretty good.
True.
Was it good for you?
With a splitting headache. Can they not replicate like some aspirin?
Space Tylenol.
It has been lost to time.
Fair enough.
Nobody noticed that sound. So shouldn't there be some sort of like security check for items being brought from another vessel into like a military?
Presumably, it like went through the transporter, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, they would have scanned and noticed, like, oh, hey, there's this weird thing emitting brainwaves. Ruh-roh. Data has a cold. You can hear it in his voice.
Because nobody can fake, audio files in the future.
No. It's never happened before. You know, nobody's impersonated the captain on an audio recording or anything.
Wesley Crusher is only taking control of the Enterprise.
If only there was some chance those could be related.
This will all be over soon.
Just bend over and accept it. When would he have had time to record something like that with the ship on fire?
Well, you see, he set the fire afterwards to cover up.
Ah.
We always use unscare.
Because he's got the ears and it's the hell the doctor. Every time I see a bookshelf on this ship, I always wonder how many times people have to go restack all their books. Well, then, like any glass decorations or anything, too. You can't flashlight this one away. I remember reading somewhere about the Ferengi language, and apparently it's like entirely based on like patterns of 60-degree angles on lines. I mean, insofar as there's any language at all.
Emotional pressure.
Where do I get a lobotomy wand like that?
Yes.
Yeah, call the counselor. Yeah,
Kind
yeah,
of.
you are.
Uh-huh.
Here, write mind drugs.
I'm also relieving you of duty.
Hasn't he already been relieved of duty?
Not yet, no.
I mean, he did tell Riker to take over, but I don't think there's any sort of official, like, you shouldn't be in charge.
Yeah.
Unless I missed it, which is entirely possible.
Yeah, I thought he's out of command for 2 days, waiting for Starfleet to get back.
That does not look like a comfortable blanket.
Looks like a hospital blanket.
That would kind of make sense.
Have you ever had a hospital blanket put on you?
Probably, but
I never deal with hospital blankets.
Of course not.
the last time I was in the hospital overnight, I was bleeding a lot, and I wasn't paying very much attention to the kind of bed I was in because of the blood.
I actually bled more when they were discharging me from the hospital. They like pulled the IV out and then put this little tiny piece of gauze over it, and then I started bleeding everywhere.
Excellent.
Sir?
Sir?
It sounds like he was just completely frozen and didn't know what to do. And his crew was like, we should do something. We should really do something, sir.
I mean, Picard kind of does that. Like, there's a lot of episodes where that seems to be the way it goes. That's a long time at Warp 9.
We're on fire.
I really like the tilted camera angles in that scene. You've seen the original Batman movie, right?
Yeah.
You ever notice that? How, like, every time there's a scene with the good guys, the cameras are, level. And every time it's the bad guys, the cameras are always at an angle.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my favorite things about that movie.
See the Constitution class in the back?
Yeah, actually. That's interesting because after this episode, they'll replace that with the Constellation out there.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Not crazy at all, you know? Only I get to call him that. That would have been a perfect moment for the door to fail. Sir, whomp.
Not crazy at all.
Nope, doing fine.
They're going to go warp 7.
Was there an academy lecture on that?
Yeah, it took them, a whole quarter.
Are tractor beams that energy intensive? Relieve him from command. Oh my god.
So
Should we do anything about it?
It's almost as if he's unfit to be making any decisions. I don't know much, but I caught this just glancing at it, you dumbasses.
get to Riker.
Good old number 1.
He's like, I did something. And now I'm in sickbay by myself.
So unappreciative.
Isn't Troy's duty station on the bridge?
As far as I know, she sits in the chair and,
Pretends to poop.
Yeah. Should we do anything about it?
Did I ask you for an computer? Don't volunteer information.
That wasn't the regular computer voice, was it?
No, it was not Majel Barrett, no.
I brought the second player controller just for you.
You owe me 4 rounds of DDR.
What?
I think Worf got his new forehead for this episode. That looks so much better than the original model. I don't know if you remember it, but it was not good.
So the Stargazer's powering up now. If only they had enough crew on the Galaxy class ship to, give it a skeleton crew.
Well, they did say they put the shields up.
No, but I mean, initially it could have been like, okay, you people on night shift, go take over this ship.
That's a good point.
And
Yeah,
conserve tractor beam energy.
Yeah.
Let it travel under its own power.
That'd be like a really great treat for some junior officers who never get to do any bridge time or run anything, all you have to do is keep the ship not crashed into us.
Yeah, follow us. Don't anything.
To be fair, I once gave somebody a job like that. You have one job. Don't let it catch on fire.
And it got on fire. Am I right?
A little bit.
I mean, there was only one big fireball.
I thought the shields were up.
The shields are...
They knew the shield modulation?
Hey, it's going like warp 8.
Ruh-roh.
Why do triplets always sound so menacing? I like how Geordi's just holding that, not flying the ship.
Yeah. The answer to the triplet question is Holst. Smash it. Just get a hammer and just break it.
Data, punch this.
Yeah. Data, Worf. One of you. Found in his chest. It just burst out like Alien.
Uh-oh.
That is kind of intimidating.
Somehow he cut comms.
Oh yeah, the shields. They block everything except the Ferengi transporters and many other things.
He had to go to the tactical railing there.
Yeah. None of your ghosts give a crap at all. They're all just like,
Fire.
Hard drive clicking.
Brother.
I love you.
In another world, I could have called you friend.
Yes.
Oh, good thing we saved all the tractor beam power.
Stupid human.
With their fear of death and...
Uh-oh.
I think I like the old original Enterprise view screen better than that one. But that's Vigo's butt. You can't shoot Vigo in the butt.
Now! Phaser. Destroy. Phaser. Let me
So
get closer.
do they always carry those little phasers as like sidearms or what?
It's like a pocket phaser.
Ah! Obviously a stunt double.
I just had this damn thing blow up in my face. What do you think?
Really wish you would have had like in the cartoons when they have when something explodes, like their face is like covered in soot.
All of his hair swept back.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, don't just pretend you weren't about to shoot him. I mean, really. You stood up with a phaser and went, "Where is he?"
So the Ferengi must have upgraded the Stargazer with a lot of automation.
Yeah. But you got to consider
did you
how long
lower
that
the
ship has
shields?
to be. No, he didn't.
They're not
I hate the
conserving
first season.
tractor beam energy.
Don't they use tractor beam or the shields to keep the Borg from locking a tractor beam on them at some point?
Yes.
So
There's
I
a
hate
wrong
the
note.
first season so much. Yep. Oh my god.
That episode wasn't that bad. It was
It
actually.
was not that bad, actually. Yeah, and when you consider things like they didn't have all the lore figured out, they don't know much about how warp speed really works, or distances between things yet. They didn't have their science guys in the writing room and all that yet. Like, it's a very good story, and I think it was done very well.
We're just nitpicking because we have future knowledge.
That's true. And I also think, I mean, this is, oh wow, sorry. After the credits on YouTube, that you get credits for like all of the foreign language versions. Or not YouTube, Netflix. Sorry. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, this is the first time that we really get to see like Patrick Stewart really, really acting. I think really like doing all what he can do. You can really tell in the first 2 episodes how uncomfortable he is with the character and with the whole process, and how. I mean, because before this, like, this was his first TV show, right? So
Yeah.
He's used to doing things that have huge amounts of precedent. People have played the characters before. Studies. He was a Shakespearean actor, and now he's creating Captain Picard. So I feel like he really kind of hit his stride there.
Yeah, this is the first time Picard gets to kind of have an episode all to himself.
Mm-hmm. And it was a good choice. I'm glad they did it. Any other final thoughts?
No, and I did like the model.
Yeah, the new CG model. Oh, it's really good.
Although it did seem like pretty close in size to the Enterprise D, at least in length. Which, I would have thought it would be considerably smaller being an older starship. But I don't know. I can't really recall the old model at this point. It's been so long since I've seen this episode.
It's pretty much the same size as the CGI model, just not as detailed and.
Yeah, it just didn't look nearly as well made as the Enterprise D model did, the original one.
No, I'm just thinking of all the times you see like an Excelsior class in the series, and it's the scale compared to that.
That's true. Well, my rule of thumb when I was a nerdy kid studying these things in like technical manuals and stuff, because that's what I did with my time. My memory is that like the Excelsior was roughly as long as the Enterprise D is wide. And the Excelsior is a much narrower design, so I'd imagine like it has a much smaller like internal volume, so that it doesn't look very bulky. Whereas the Constellation there, it's like the saucer is really thick. There's all that bulk to it, so like I kind of wonder if side by side, if they would, I think it might be surprising how big the Constellation actually is.
Well, and I think a lot of that length is also the warp nacelles, since
that's probably true.
The Galaxy class has much smaller warp nacelles.
Right. This would be a really good episode of Trek Yards, which is an interesting YouTube channel if you've never seen it. Go check that out, audience, if you like really technical discussions about, starships, which they're even a little dry for me. I love that stuff, but
I remember reading somewhere that the Constellation class came out because the Klingon ships of the air were getting the better of the Excelsior classes. So they needed something quick, so they came up with the Constellation class.
I will take a dump on prequels like as the day is long. I hate prequels, but if they're going to do another prequel, I would really love to see an early 24th century Star Trek series. Like the Enterprise B, or like that era.
Yeah, give us something between the established timelines.
Yeah, and honestly, they should do it in the style of like the way they did Enterprise. Because Enterprise, I watched through Enterprise all the way through for the first time last summer, and I was always impressed by how well they really did try to keep, the connections they made sense to make those connections. And they pulled stuff out of popular novels and whatever that, a majority of what you saw on Enterprise was like stuff that was really cool to see that had been referenced. And I'd love to see things like that. you know, in an early 24th century show.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So we're gonna wrap it up with that.
Yep.
Cool. All right.
Thank you
Thank
all.
y'all for joining us. We'll see you next time, and so forth.
Take care, everyone.
Fly safe.
You can't steal Scott Manley's gimmick on everything, dude. Give him something else.
Have a good night.
There we go.
Y'all come back now.